Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a highly misunderstood piece of the Canadian retirement puzzle. We're looking at a hidden tax trap that quietly threatens your old age security, or OAS. Because it turns out, it's not just about how much money you've managed to save up, it's about exactly how that money looks on paper. Let's uncover how this system actually works.
There's this bedrock misconception out there, right? Like, while your CPP relies on your work history and your RRSPs rely on your own savings discipline, OAS, well, it just kind of feels guaranteed. The assumption is, if you've lived in Canada long enough, boom, it's a sure thing. But here's the reality check. OAS is tied directly to your tax return, and the real danger? It hides right inside that false assumption of safety.
To help you map out your own defense, we're going to break this complex machinery down into 6 logical parts. We'll look at the OAS guarantee myth, how the clawback actually works, why not all income is equal, the age 72 time bomb, strategies to protect your OAS, and finally, the big picture plan.
So, starting off with part 1, the OAS guarantee myth, and breaking that illusion.
The absolutely crucial point here is understanding one fundamental difference. In our day-to-day lives, we look at cash flow. We look at what hits the bank account, what pays the mortgage, or what spoils the grandkids. But the CRA, they do not read your life that way. They only care about the net income on your tax return. So, a choice that makes perfect cash flow sense to you might suddenly push you into a much higher bracket in the taxman's eyes.
Which brings us to part 2, how the clawback works and the hidden mechanism behind it.
This clawback, often called the recovery tax, kicks in at a specific threshold right around the low $90,000 range. Now, whether this adjusts in the future or not, once your taxable income pushes past this limit, the government starts taking back your OAS. And surprisingly, no, this isn't just an ultra-wealthy problem. An unexpected capital gain from selling a family cottage, or even just a larger-than-usual RSP withdrawal to fix a leaky roof, can instantly spring this trap on an everyday retiree.
All right, part 3, not all income is equal. Let's look at the usual suspects.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how different accounts trigger this trap completely differently. Standard RRSP or RRIF withdrawals hit your taxable income fully at 100%. That is high danger. Capital gains, they sit in the medium zone since only a portion of that is taxable. But then, look at the TFSA. If you pull 10 grand from an RRSP, your taxable income spikes. Pull that exact same 10 grand from a TFSA, and you don't move an inch closer to the clawback threshold. It's a zero-impact hero.
But what about investments outside those registered accounts? How do seemingly attractive Canadian eligible dividends actually look in the CRA's eyes?
Well, it turns out they can be a massive trap. Because of a quirky rule called the dividend gross-up, your paper income is artificially inflated. It's kind of like looking into a funhouse mirror. The CRA sees a much larger income number on your tax return than the actual cash you put in your pocket. While the tax credit you get is nice, this accounting quirk quietly pushes you right toward that clawback limit without you actually feeling any richer.
Moving on to part 4, the age 72 time bomb. Because honestly, timing is everything.
Let's move through this timeline and see how this builds. A lot of people retire early, say around 60, and they leave their RRSPs untouched so they can grow. At 65, OAS starts, all good. But here is the time bomb. At age 71, you are forced to convert that massively grown RRSP into a RRIF. By 72, mandatory withdrawals begin. Combine those forced withdrawals with your CPP, your OAS, and any other investments, and boom, your paper income spikes, triggering a huge clawback. Oh, and a quick aside, really watch out for year 1 of retirement. The CRA might still be looking at your final year's working salary, hitting you with a clawback right out of the gate.
So, what can we do?
Part 5, strategies to protect your OAS and building your shield.
One major strategy to counter that time bomb is called the RSP meltdown. Instead of just letting your RSP grow untouched, you actually start taking controlled withdrawals during your lower income early retirement years. By spreading the income out evenly, you actively prevent that massive mandatory spike at age 72. Now, you obviously have to balance this carefully to avoid unnecessary early taxes, but what's fascinating here is how it relieves massive clawback pressure later on.
And this brilliantly illustrates how couples can play defense. Pension income splitting is a total game changer. Because the clawback is based on individual income, having one spouse hold all the taxable pension is just dangerous. By splitting eligible pension income and sharing your CPP, you balance the load. Keeping 2 separate incomes lower keeps both spouses safely below the threshold rather than having one single income spike way over it.
Next up is handling sudden cash influxes, like downsizing your home. The home sale itself might be completely tax-free, but if you dump all that cash into a non-registered account, the ongoing interest is going to spike your taxable income every single year. Alternatively, smartly filtering that money into a TFSA softens those single-year income spikes. Why? Because growth and withdrawals inside a TFSA fly completely under the CRA's radar.
Finally, Part 6, the big picture plan for lifetime tax planning.
The ultimate goal here isn't just to blindly dodge clawbacks. It's about thoughtfully managing your total lifetime tax bill. It's like a giant puzzle. Here is your master checklist. First, separate out all your income sources. Second, check the CRA view for every single one. Third, estimate future spikes, like those RRIF minimums. And crucially, you need to plan this over a 10 to 20-year horizon. Taking from a TFSA today absolutely protects your OAS now, but it does reduce future tax-free growth. Every single trade-off has to be weighed across the decades.
So, to wrap this all up, your OAS is connected not just to your age, but to exactly how you appear inside the tax system. Don't let poor timing or unexpected gross-ups catch you off guard. Always consult a licensed professional for your unique situation. And hey, to keep empowering yourself with clear explainers just like this one, make sure you hit subscribe. But I want to leave you with this final thought. Look at your own portfolio right now. What is the biggest income source in your retirement plan that might quietly put your OAS at risk?